Some men stay single for years and people assume something is missing. They assume he failed at love. They assume he's either afraid of commitment or just difficult. Those assumptions feel logical in a culture that measures a man by who stands beside him. But that story falls apart when you look at how those men actually end up. Many men who rushed into attachment carry financial scars, emotional exhaustion, and fractured identity. Some men who stayed single built stability, clear thinking, and control over their own time. People don't see a ring on his finger, and they assume that means he failed. They don't see the debt he paid off alone. They don't see the nights he finally slept without anxiety. Staying single for years looks like he's stuck. Sometimes it just means he's rebuilding quietly. The difference is what he does when no one is watching. If he uses it to escape himself, he shrinks. If he uses it to confront himself, he grows stronger every year. This is not about rejecting love. It is about refusing chaos disguised as connection. A strong man is not afraid of love. He's just careful about who he lets close enough to change his life. And that one decision can change the direction of a man's entire life. The night nobody talks about. Let us address what most men will not say out loud. There are nights when the house feels larger than usual. You walk back into your own space, and the quiet hits harder than expected. At this same hour, some of your friends are posting intimate photos, sharing their closeness with the world. That sense of loneliness is real. It is nothing more than the instinct to share life with someone. Many men panic at that point. They reach for the nearest source of validation. They text someone they already know is wrong. They crave the sweetness of empty flirtation, even when they know it carries no weight. They trade long-term stability for a few hours of relief. The long-term single man does something harder. He sits there. He lets the discomfort stay. He doesn't try to fix it. The hardest part is not sleeping alone. The hardest part is knowing that one nod, and there would be a woman in this room tomorrow night, and choosing not to, because he knows one impulsive call can cost him years. If he reacts, he repeats old patterns. If he stays steady, he keeps control. Marcus was 42 when his divorce finalized. The first Sunday after his children went back to their mother's house, he sat at the kitchen table longer than necessary, staring at two empty chairs. He almost called someone he knew was wrong for him. His thumb hovered over her name. Then he put the phone face down on the table. That was the night he understood something simple. He wasn't lonely. He was withdrawing from a habit he had called love. And habits lose power when you stop feeding them. Epictetus once said, "We suffer not from events, but from our judgments about them." That night, nothing outside changed. Only his response did. When a man can get through that night without reaching backward, he keeps his future intact. One call could have pulled him back 3 years. One pause moved him forward. Loneliness fades. The wrong choice does not. And most men learn that lesson the expensive way. Time starts working for him. When a man is unattached, his hours are no longer pulled in different directions. He does not lose evenings to conversations that go in circles. He no longer lets himself get dragged into drama. 5 extra hours a day adds up fast. In a year, that time turns into finished projects, better skills, and more money. It can improve his health because he finally puts his energy back into himself. And here's what most people miss. Consistency is rarely exciting in the beginning. That is why most men quit too early. Over time, showing up every day does what motivation never could. In your 30s or 40s, you feel it in money and momentum. In your 50s, 60s, or 70s, you feel it in time and energy. Either way, wasted years become harder to justify. You can tell when a man is solid, even if he doesn't say a word. It is like a man who already paid his mortgage. He does not flinch at pressure. He stops letting his days slip away. Morgan used to cancel workouts because someone wanted to talk things out. There was a time he bought a yearly gym membership 3 years in a row and barely showed up. He blamed everything, but never his lack of discipline. It is funny how traffic is always the problem when the alarm clock is not. 3 years single, he hasn't missed a single Monday session. His shoulders are broader now, but that isn't what changed. What changed is that he no longer makes excuses for himself. If you respect that kind of quiet consistency, press like, not for me, but as a reminder to yourself. Seeking versus building. Some men move through life unattached, looking to be completed. Others move through it building themselves. One searches for someone to make him feel wanted. The other shapes habits that will still matter long after the excitement fades. The seeking man fears empty weekends. The building man protects them. Building a life is like clearing an overgrown garden. At first, it's just weeds and dirt. You pull, you sweat. Nothing looks better yet. But if you never clear it, you'll never have a place to sit in peace. Ethan was 39 when his engagement ended. Instead of chasing another distraction, he enrolled in night classes to fix the business he barely understood. 2 years later, he stopped underpricing himself. His income doubled. His stress dropped. That is what building looks like. That difference is why some single men feel unsettled while others feel steady. Being single is not the problem. What a man does with it is. If you are single and restless, the solution is not immediate attachment. The solution is looking at yourself without excuses. That is like grocery shopping when you are starving. Everything looks like a good idea. You regret half of it the next morning. Some men say they want love. Often they just want relief. Relief is cheap. Strength costs more. Be honest with yourself. Are you building or just looking for relief right now? He has to handle himself. In unstable relationships, small things slowly turn into battles that drain you. You stop looking forward to coming home. Silence feels safer than conversation. And that kind of tension wears a man down. Living alone forces him to face it. When life gets hard, he cannot blame a partner for his frustration. He cannot expect someone else to calm him down. He must learn to manage himself. No one wakes him up or pushes him to work. His health, his schedule, all of it is on him. That is where the real test begins. Not in public, but in the small private moments no one sees. And yes, sometimes it means arguing with himself in the kitchen at 11 p.m., knowing exactly what the mature response is, and still wanting to send the message anyway. His thumb hovers over the screen. The real opponent is not the message. It is the part of him that wants comfort over growth. That voice always sounds reasonable at midnight. He deletes it, not because he is calm, but because he is tired of repeating the same regret. And peace is addictive once you taste it. At first, saying no to yourself feels heavy. Later, it feels like freedom. You sleep better, and you begin making decisions without constantly looking for approval. Some men learn steadiness alone. Others learn it inside commitment. Neither path is easier. Both show you who you really are, and neither lets you hide for long. The cost of returning to chaos. Many men who have rebuilt themselves once are tempted to return to familiar patterns. A charismatic person enters their life. Chemistry resurfaces, the attention feels flattering, old instincts awaken, but something inside hesitates. He remembers the financial compromises that slowed his progress. He remembers shrinking himself to keep the peace. He remembers that her angry demands always came with a price. The memory is not dramatic. It is specific. The little ways he kept bending. He knows from experience that strong attraction without shared values usually ends the same way. She may be stunning. He leaves anyway, even when part of him wants to stay. Because no one gives a man back his time. Not from a bank, Not from a lover, not from time. He has already paid once for ignoring that truth. Ronnie met someone magnetic at 53. The attention felt intoxicating, the kind that makes a man stand a little taller without realizing it. For a moment, he told himself this time would be different. For a week, he felt 20 again. Then his knees reminded him he was not. He noticed the same dynamics he had survived 15 years earlier. This time, he walked away before the loss began. He had already learned how expensive one more chance can be. That decision required him to give up novelty. Excitement fades, alignment lasts. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He could not control who walked into his life. He could control who stayed. Walking away does not always feel powerful, but those quiet decisions are usually the ones that save him from starting over. People call it fear. He calls it having learned the hard way. Touch a hot stove once, you react. Touch it twice, you remember. Touch it a third time, you cannot claim ignorance. A man who remembers the heat no longer needs to prove he can endure it. Of course, not every woman brings chaos. A friend of his found love in his later years. He is not extreme. He is simply cautious. Money changes a man. When he is not trying to impress or calm someone down, he spends differently. He sees how eating out every weekend, upgrading cars too fast, or covering someone else's bills drains him over time. He learns which bills make his life easier and which ones slowly box him in. Having savings means he does not have to rely on anyone to stay afloat. People treat him with respect, and his loved ones do not feel like they have to carry him. When a man is not stressed about the bills, he feels lighter and more confident. Instead of spending just to please others, he can buy something for himself once in a while, nothing excessive, and he enjoys it without guilt. At 40, it can mean owning more and owing less. At 60, it can mean not having to borrow money when something breaks or someone gets sick. Money does not buy happiness, but lack of it buys a lot of problems. When a man is stressed about money, he is more likely to rush decisions that cost him later. Most of us have swiped a card once and felt confident for 10 seconds, then uncomfortable for 10 months. Financial strength is not about showing off. It is about not being desperate. When you are stable, you can help without feeling used. A man who is stable can give without resentment. He gets his house in order so that when pressure hits, he can handle it, and the people around him feel that. When he stops explaining himself. Have you ever noticed how some people ask you the same question every time they see you? Something like, "Why aren't you seeing anyone?" Years ago, he would laugh it off and say, "If you know someone, introduce me." Now he smiles and says, "I'm good. I built what I wanted." He knows exactly where he stands. He no longer feels embarrassed about being single. He no longer argues his worth. His life speaks for him now, not loudly, not defensively, just clearly. And when a man reaches that point, he does not need permission to live the way he chooses. He simply moves forward and lets others catch up. If this sounds like someone you know, send it to him. And if you value this kind of conversation, subscribe to Move or Die Stoic. When he chooses from strength. After years of building his life carefully, he no longer feels he needs a relationship to feel complete. Optional does not mean unwanted. Some nights the desire for warmth beside him still moves through his body. He remembers the weight of another body against his chest, the familiar touch in the dark, the simple comfort of not sleeping alone. But he would rather deal with a quiet night than deal with drama the next morning. Now when he does choose, he chooses fully, without hesitation or guarded distance. If he remains single, it is not because he lacks opportunity. He has simply learned that loneliness costs less than a relationship that does not align. Now he carries himself with calm and contentment, and people can feel the difference the moment he walks into a room. Being independent doesn't mean shutting people out. A man who has built himself does not withdraw from the world. It means he can enter connection calmly, not out of panic. Long-term single men are not suspended in time. They wake when they choose. They build what they believe in, and they answer to standards they set for themselves. They are not hiding from connection. They just refuse to settle. From the outside, it may look quiet. Inside, he is simply not at war with himself anymore. George is 53. He eats alone most nights, but he sleeps without tension. And no one steals the blankets. His children call him for advice, not rescue. His house is quiet, but his mind is not at war. He built that peace deliberately. He still has tired days. He still questions his choices sometimes. The difference is he no longer uses another person as temporary relief. If you have endured the nights without collapsing into compromise, if you have rebuilt discipline instead of chasing distraction, then you are not behind. You chose stability instead of rushing into the wrong situation. And when you are not afraid of being alone, you make clearer decisions. You stop needing noise to feel alive. Tell me, when did you realize being alone was no longer something you feared? If that feels familiar, you already know who you are.